Let's now get the latest news in Cebutu in Tawi-Tawi. And joining us on the line is George Carino. George, how's it going there?
Well, the residents of Cebutu had a relief this morning after contact was made on their relatives in Sabah, particularly in LAHAD DATU, to the help of Councilor Marisa Jafar Pata. Some residents were able to contact their loved ones. For the past couple of days that I've been here, almost every day, even in nighttime, people are coming to the house of Councilor Pata and submitting the cell phone numbers of their families, because most of them do not have sufficient money to buy for cell phone load to enable them to contact their loved ones. According to Councilor Pata, most of the people here in Cebutu sought livelihood, employment, and even were able to settle in LAHAD DATU, because majority of people here are farming in that area in Sabah. In fact, there is an area, according to Councilor Pata, that the chairman of the village, or the equivalent of barangay chairman here in the Philippines, are Filipinos, and most of them are from Cebutu. This morning, contact was made, although we were not able to understand the conversation over the cell phone, because that was made in Sama, the dialect of the Sama ethnic group who are living here in Cebutu. But after that, a few minutes of conversation, Councilor Pata translated the conversation, and she said that the people in Block 22, or what they call as Duanga Pulo Dalawa in LAHAD DATU, is sheltered in a farmhouse, and they number to around 1,000 people, all from Cebutu. They are being fed, given 5 kilos of rice each family per day, and they're also, and an ambulance is also on standby to provide medical care to those who may need them while they are still in LAHAD DATU. Some of the people are hiding under the shelter of palm oils, and they can still see planes hovering above them, dropping bombs, and they can hear gunshots, but they could not determine, and they have no visual confirmation if anyone was hurt or killed in that process. Gigi, to give you, with your indulgence, I will play the soundbite of Councilor Pata while she's trying to translate to us the conversation. Okay, here's the soundbite now. I'm not sure if you can hear that, Gigi, but in summary, Councilor Pata said that basta narinig na lang nila na dumarating mga aeroplano at nagbobomba, at basta nagtago na lang sila. Those were the translation that was provided. But good enough, the family was able to express relief and even smile this morning, because hearing the words of their father or their brother meant a lot to them, because their families are being provided by livelihood in LAHAD DATU, similar to what we call as OFW. The only difference is their loved ones are only an hour away from Cebu Island. The greater concern now is those who are not taken care of in shelters and maybe roaming around, including the women and children. Gigi?
So, George, these relatives that the counselor helped put in touch with their relatives in Lahad Datu, they're civilians. They're not even a part of the group of the Sultan of Sulu.
Yes, that's right, Gigi. That's why they opted to follow the Malaysian authorities and stayed in the shelter, because they couldn't run and they couldn't walk away from those shelters for fear that they might be mistaken as member of the Royal Army of the Sultanate of Sulu, and they will arrest if that happens, because since the identities is not yet fully established. That's why the Filipinos who are staying in Lahad Datu are taking extra precaution and exercising prudence to avoid any further complications on the situation now in Lahad Datu. Gigi?
George, tell us a little bit more about Sibutu, its location relative to, you said it was an hour away from Lahad Datu, and you know, how does that compare to the distance to, say, Bongao or Zamboanga? I mean, it's closer to Malaysia, isn't it?
Yes, that's right, Gigi. If you're coming from Bongao, you have to travel southwestern direction, passing by the island of Simunul, and then you will reach the island of Sibutu. Sibutu is the nearby island from Sitangkay, which is the last big island away from the shore of Sabah, Malaysia. Sitangkay is around more than just 12 nautical miles away from Sabah, Malaysia. And if we are to judge it, basically we're just more than 15 or 16 nautical miles away from Sabah, Malaysia. People say they take a boat which runs around an hour by sea, and they do their shopping in Sabah, Malaysia. Meaning most of the produce that they get are from Sabah, Malaysia, because it's much cheaper. Imagine a pack of instant noodles, Gigi. You can buy it in Manila for around, let's say, imagine that at 8 pesos. But in Sabah, Malaysia, you can buy it at less than 5 pesos, around 4 pesos and 50 centavos. That is the difference. That's why they opt to buy it in Sabah, Malaysia. Even the fuel. Is being bought from Malaysia. The rice supply, most of the supplies are being bought from Sabah, Malaysia. People were telling me that when they go to Sabah, Malaysia, the Philippine peso is being exchanged in sari-sari stores, or even Filipinos roaming there. You can have it exchanged for Malaysian ringgit, and but not in the typical money-changing shop that we see in Metro Manila. That's that's the major difference. But if you will compare it with Zamboanga City, most of the people would not prefer to go to Zamboanga City or to Bongao to buy anything, because it's much cheaper to go to Sabah, Malaysia. Here in Sibutu, there's no public market. There are sari-sari stores where you can buy your daily needs like toiletries and other stuff like sugar. But if you are considering buying poultry or fish, there's no thing as that. Fishermen would bring their catch to the homes of the people here and would offer their catch at a very low price.
Yeah. And George, so this is really very close to the border. Do you have any information about what the situation is like at the border? The Navy, the Philippine Navy has been there on patrol, tight security over there for several days now, if not weeks, as well as the Malaysian patrollers. What information do you have about what's going on at the border?
Okay. I was able to talk with Commander Jonathan Zata, the commanding officer of BRP Tagbanwa, the Navy ship that will provide humanitarian mission. They are now taking shelter in the port of Sibutu. And I was told that when they got the order, they maneuvered and passed the island of Sitangkay, but they got ordered to stand down, and they maintained their distance, and they did not proceed on the border. They even saw Malaysian Navy ships and made contact through radio communications. And eventually, they opted to take shelter here in Cebu Island while awaiting further orders from the Philippine government. And the border, according to Commander Sata, Malaysian ships are there. And before we even arrived here in Cebu Island, if you can recall the story in TV Patrol when some of the Filipinos who boarded the ship were able to cross the border, because one of the captain of a commercial shipping line is transporting water vessels under USAID funded project, and he was allowed by the Royal Navy to proceed to the Philippines with that cargo. And on the pleading of some Filipinos, they boarded the ship, and luckily the Malaysian authorities did not accost them, and they allowed them to proceed to the shores of Cebu, which facilitated that kind of repatriation for some of the people. And I understand that most were brought to Bongao for process.
Mm-hmm. Well, George, thank you very much for that update. George Carino there reporting from Cebu in Tawi-Tawi.